A 70-mile shadow swept across the United States from coast to coast today, the first solar eclipse visible from the United States since 1979, and the first across the entire continent in 99 years. Look at the sight that thrilled the country from Oregon through Wyoming and Kansas, finally ending in South Carolina. Our next solar eclipse in the U.S. is in 2024, but even it will not be seen coast to coast like today's. Good evening, I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp, delighted to have you here for our 13 News team coverage. As expected, the roads leading to the path of totality saw a lot more traffic than your typical Monday.
We are hearing things are getting back to normal right now. There are a few slowdowns on Highway 75 north of Holton on the way there. Getting home caused quite a traffic jam. This video near Holton from our Skywatch 13 drone shows the steady stream of southbound traffic, but it doesn't show the worst of it. The two-lane stretch north of Holton to Highway 36, which was the main route to towns like Hiawatha and Sabetha, was at a crawl for several hours this afternoon. Brown County Sheriff John Merchant estimates a backup of about 30 miles at one point on Highway 75. However, both he and Jackson County Sheriff Tim Morse report no major incidents. They did have a few minor injury accidents. And as you see again, as we mentioned, this is that video we were telling you about, the situation with the bumper-to-bumper traffic, very slow going on southbound 75 after eclipse viewers were leaving those towns to the north on Highway 36 like Hiawatha, Horton. The southbound 75 traffic very heavy today, but again, back to normal.
Watching the solar eclipse from Horton, Kansas was hit and miss at times for sure, Melissa. But in the end, those who were there, they were able to snap some amazing photos and videos of the astronomical phenomenon. 13's Sean Wheat and our photojournalist Rick Felsberg trained our cameras on the sky when those clouds broke for just a little while.
Solar eclipse enthusiasts from all across the nation made their viewing spot Horton, Kansas.
Near Pasadena, California.
From Cascade, Iowa.
We traveled from Tucson, Arizona.
Traveling all that distance to get stuck in the rain when totality hit. But with luck, just before and just after totality, they were rewarded with a great look at the moon over the sun.
When you're dealing with nature, nature always wins. You cannot control it. You can't even hope to think of controlling it.
Many agreed they wouldn't let the clouds put a damper on the fun and excitement.
I mean, sure, I want to see the whole thing. It's going to be great, but 7 years, we'll try it again.
No, I've seen two before. In Virginia Beach and in Gaspé Peninsula in Canada. Yeah. So I think it's going to be fun no matter what.
You know, there's always 2024.
People made the best of the cloudy weather, shopping with local vendors, playing games, and getting to know one another, making August 21st a day to remember.
People get excited, people get carried away. Here we are.
Sean Wheat, 13 News.
Thank you, Sean. Great job over there in the small city of Hiawatha, Kansas, in the eclipse's path of totality. Had 20,000 people originally estimated to come to the town, and the weather might have rained on their parade a bit. 13's Daniela Leon was live throughout the morning and afternoon, telling us what the city had in store for its thousands of visitors today.
From California, New Jersey, and Topeka, thousands descended to Hiawatha, Kansas, and watched the sky go from light to dark in less than 3 minutes.
It's really creepy.
The Great American Solar Eclipse crossed America from sea to shining sea for the first time in nearly 100 years. Hiawatha was one of the few cities where the moon completely covered our sun, sparking NASA to stop by.
Science is cool, and this is one of the wonders of nature. I mean, this is something that has enthralled people for thousands and thousands of years.
An estimated 4,000 to 5,000 people came out to Hiawatha for the eclipse. The small town spent nearly a year prepping for the big day, waking up at the crack of dawn to make sure everything ran as smoothly as possible.
So it's been really exciting, give us an opportunity to kind of show off our community and see a really neat natural event as well.
But Mother Nature had a few tricks up her sleeve and made sure to tease us throughout the day.
Absolutely nothing. It's very cloudy right now.
The clouds have just covered up the small sliver that's left.
But the majority kept their shades on and cheered as the eclipse made its way through America's heartland.
The crickets and the birds start flying and going all sorts of crazy. And all that happened, even though, you know, the eclipse was kind of clouded out a little bit, you still got to see all those effects. So just that and all was worth it.
While that next solar eclipse doesn't really cross through Hiawatha, a lot of the residents say they wouldn't mind making a drive a little farther to the south next time to experience it again. Melissa?
One of the first Kansas communities in the path of totality was Marysville, and they were perhaps one of the luckier spots in our area. Some morning clouds cleared up to give them an impressive seat for their time in the dark. Marysville saw just over 1 minute of totality. It also gave students a great location for this first-hand science lesson.
It was just really cool how everything around you went dark, and the only thing you could really see was just the outline of the moon in the sun. It was just super cool how you couldn't see. It was all dark.
We're writing about the eclipse and asking questions.
Why is it so important that you learn about the eclipse?
Because there might not be another time that you see an eclipse.
You'll be hearing from some Topeka students who weren't quite so lucky a little bit later. Marysville, by the way, held 2 days of festivities to celebrate the eclipse. Students at Washburn University headed outdoors for the first day of class. 13's Tiernan Shank visited one of the biggest eclipse parties in Topeka, where the rain didn't stop the excitement.
That's right. Even the smallest glimpse of sun sent the crowds at Yeager Stadium into a frenzy. But those clouds didn't budge. Washburn students and faculty say they were disappointed, but glad the community came together for several special seconds.
It was hot and sunny as people stood in line outside Washburn's Yeager Stadium to grab a pair of free eclipse glasses.
So I've been looking forward to it for a long time, for a couple of months now. Me and my dad have been getting ready for it for a couple months. My whole family has glasses already. We're really excited for this.
But as it got closer to 1:06 p.m., the time Topeka peaked at 99% of the sun blocked, clouds covered the sky.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I think I told you a while ago, remember the nursery rhyme, clouds, clouds, go away, come again another day? They haven't gone away yet.
Still, the clouds didn't stop the spirit inside the stadium.
Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and being able to spend time with my family and see this is something that would be important to me.
Washburn President Jerry Farley says the eclipse was as much social as it was scientific.
We wanted to do something today for the students that are here on campus, for citizens here in Topeka, to give them a venue where they come be with one another. People like being with other people. And on the college campus, I mean, look around. Isn't this a beautiful sight here?
Washburn representatives say they gave out 3,500 pairs of eclipse glasses and sold about 200 boxed lunches. Even without the sun, students say it was an event to remember.
It was still really cool because it did get really dark and we could hear the cicadas, and I thought that was kind of cool. It did feel like it was nighttime.
Most people left immediately after the eclipse, but I spoke with several people who decided to stay and were just happy looking up in the sky and maybe imagining it.
We still saw it get darker, so it was an event to see. Thanks so much, Tiernan.
And a complete madhouse at Kansas State where some 2,000 people were part of the solar eclipse viewing party on campus. Classes were suspended today. They'll start up tomorrow over there. 13's Erica Hall in Manhattan shows us how students and faculty didn't let a little bit of bad weather stop them from taking it all in.
Even the rain and being able to cut the first day of class did not stop K-State students from coming out to celebrate the historic solar eclipse.
Oh, I'm pumped. I have 4 classes today, only had to go to 1.
Students were granted excused absences on Monday so they could witness the solar eclipse.
Oh, it's amazing. That's honestly just why K-State's the best. They have this big family atmosphere, just bring us all together.
Many saying Monday's solar eclipse is the experience of a lifetime.
Oh, it's so getting crazier the darker it gets. It's almost like the more people are coming out, the louder it gets. It's just, everyone's so hyped to be here and excited to see this, what might be once in a lifetime event for some people.
Honestly, my biggest thing, I'm ready for the big gasp when the totality comes at 1:03. That's what I'm ready for.
I'm just so thankful that we're just not stuck in class right now. We have the opportunity to just experience this all together and really just come together as a university to experience this.
K-State Student Union Program Council put on the event that included live music, eclipse information, and lots of solar-themed giveaways. The viewing was hosted partially inside due to rain. Fortunately, though, there were a few breaks in cloud coverage, so students were able to make it out and catch a glimpse of the solar eclipse at its peak at about 1:04.
I think it's really cool that the school does all this for us. They even gave us the glasses, which I was like, I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was from Topeka, and I went to like 3 different stores and called a bunch of others, and they were all sold out. So when they sent the email out, the school's giving them away, I was like, I gotta get there early.
In Manhattan, Erica Hall, 13 News.
Good thing that students did get there early. More than 900 eclipse glasses were handed out before they ran out. That was in less than an hour. And the clouds were an inconvenience today. They could lead to a more dangerous situation later tonight.
Right. Showers on the way. Peyton Sanders is in for Jeremy this week. What are you seeing meteorologically, Peyton?
Hi, Ralph, Melissa. Yes, we are talking about the possibility for some scattered storms. In fact, we are seeing more develop right now here during the 6 o'clock hour. And over the course of the next hour, I do think we'll begin to see more activity on the radar. But take a look at this eclipse. This is from space. On our satellite picture today, look at the shadow crossing all the way across the United States this afternoon. Pretty cool. This is a way to see it, though, without those clouds that were covering northeast Kansas. You can see them there as well. If you didn't really get a good view of the eclipse today, next total eclipse nearby will be in 2024. From Dallas all the way up northeast to southeastern sections of Missouri and into New England. So gotta wait 7 more years till the next one moves close by. Scattered storms in the area tonight. I'll talk more about that. Plus have your full 8-day forecast coming up.
And in a bit, how one of our local schools got into the solar eclipse spirit.
The rain may have dampened spirits, but the learning was still going.
You're watching 13 News at 6 with Melissa Bruner and Ralph Hipp. 13 News, Kansas News Leader. You're watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Topeka Collegiate staff and parent volunteers had some activities ready to go 2 hours before the eclipse.
Their penumbra party included some lessons on ways to look at the moon passing the sun without hurting their eyes, of course. And as Reagan Porter explains, Mother Nature still got in their way.
I don't see anything. Topeka Collegiate students weren't able to see the eclipse due to cloud cover, but they did get to experience the darkness created by the phenomenon.
It feels like I'm at school at night, but I still can see it. The blue sky.
The crickets thought it was like nighttime.
Isn't that amazing?
Onlookers in Topeka were set to see 99% of the total solar eclipse. Even though the weather didn't map out as Topeka Collegiate had hoped, that didn't stop students from learning.
If the sun was out, you would see this sun coming down and hitting these circles.
7th grade teacher Christopher Denton says the kids learned a lot before the eclipse too, including how to make and use pinhole projection boxes, which turned out to be the best way to view the eclipse on a cloudy day.
You could see a little sliver of when the moon was passing in front of the sun. So I was surprised today that the pinhole boxes over here were the most effective way to see the sun.
So we learned all about that, and then we learned like what will happen if you don't use the glasses.
We're gonna go down, snap, and up.
It might not hurt if you look at the sun, but like 10 years later, then you'll go blind. You don't want to be blind in high school.
Mr. Denton is confident his students will walk away knowing how an eclipse works. Did he do it right, Delaney?
Yes.
And how to use eclipse glasses in 2024.
So they'll have the knowledge to safely view it next time around.
Reagan Porter, 13 News.
And thank you a bunch, Reagan. Students and staffers at Tecumseh South Elementary got to see the eclipse outside after all with their safety-approved glasses. The Shawnee Heights District among those affected by the fake glasses recall we told you about. Principal Scott Dial worked to find 3,000 pair for the district, paying a higher price for the kids to join in the experience. As he said, you do not want to go blind in high school. So
no, you don't.
They really followed the warnings very well.
We have some other watches and warnings to alert you to tonight. Peyton Sanders looks at what the rain might have in store next.
This is your 13 weather forecast.
Thanks for spending your Monday evening here with us. We had lots of clouds here across northeast Kansas today, which did put a hamper on our view of that eclipse. But take a look at this time lapse from Jeremy Goodwin out of the Kansas City International Airport today. The sun covered by the clouds, but you could still see the darkness as that eclipse moved across the area. The total solar eclipse passed over the airport this afternoon, but you can see the brightness outside, and then it turns to almost night at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Look at that. The lights on the terminal actually turn on as that eclipse moved across the area. So without the clouds, it would have been a lot better view, but still pretty cool. It got dark at 1 in the afternoon. And the weather, though, tonight is going to be changing. We're going to be talking about some scattered showers and thunderstorms. In fact, we see some more showers and thunderstorms going up north of Topeka right now from Valley Falls on up towards Atchison. Also near Holton, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. These are not severe right now, but we will watch for the possibility for some hail and wind producing storms this evening on an isolated basis. More storms from Marion and Chase County. Those are pushing to the northeast, and some more scattered showers and thunderstorms from Junction City on up toward Marysville. All of this is pushing to the northeast tonight, and we do expect scattered showers and thunderstorms to continue throughout the overnight hours. Flash flood watch in effect for much of northeast Kansas. Some areas could be picking up as much as a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. Some isolated areas, especially south of I-70, could be picking up nearly 2 inches of rain as we move on through the overnight hours. And you'll see that here on Supercast. Showers and thunderstorms by midnight tonight. Some locally heavy rainfall will be possible. Tomorrow morning, a few showers and storms possible south of I-70, but the afternoon looks dry with lots of sunshine and low humidity tomorrow. We're going to be ending the day with highs in the lower 80s. It's going to be a big difference from where we were at today. People's Insurance Group Road Risk Index for this evening. The yellow car, watch for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Take it slow out on the roadways if you encounter any rain. And on your 8-day forecast, highs are going to be staying cool for this time of year at least. Low 80s continue. Humidity remains low for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Should be a great several days. A good way to end the work week too. Scattered storms possible again by the weekend.
Looking good now that the eclipse has gone by us. Coming up in 13 sports, where the Royals are sitting in the playoff standings, less than 40 games to go now.
Also, the first AP poll released today. Find out where the K-State Wildcats start this football season next.
13 Sports with Jonathan Deutsch.
We all got to experience a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity today, but I'm not talking about the eclipse. I'm talking about our first viewing of the AP Top 25 poll for the 2017 season. The Kansas State Wildcats start the year ranked 20th in the country. It's the second time in the last 4 years that the Wildcats start in the top 25. The last time they did it was 2014 when they were also ranked 20th to start the year. K-State will open its season on September 2nd. Their first game against a preseason top 25 team comes on October 7th against the Texas Longhorns. Here is the full AP Top 25. No shock, Alabama, the overall #1. This is the second year in a row they've started out as #1. Ohio State, Florida State, USC, and defending national champs Clemson round out the top 5. There are 5 Big 12 teams in the top 25, only 2 of them in the top 10, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. The others there are K-State at 20, West Virginia at 22, and Texas at 23. The Royals have the night off, but that doesn't mean we have to stop looking at the standings to see where they sit in the playoff hunt. Cleveland right now is 68-54. After dropping 2 of 3 to the Indians, the Royals now sit 6.5 games back in the division. As the Royals try to claw their way back, here's something to note. In their final 39 games, 26 of them will be against AL Central teams. They have 7 games left with both Cleveland and Minnesota. Here's a look at the AL wild card race. The New York Yankees hold the first wild card spot. Minnesota and LA tied for the second spot. KC just 1.5 games out, but they're bunched together with 5 other teams all within 5 games. We'll see how things in both races shift as the Royals do have the day off, but Cleveland, Minnesota, Seattle, and Texas will all be playing tonight. So if you didn't stare at the sun for hours and hours and hours today, you can watch a little non-Royals baseball if you'd like.
No, it should have only been for a minute or two. Jonathan, thanks a lot.
And we're going to be back to check with Peyton next.
This is your 13 weather forecast.
Scattered storms likely across northeast Kansas through the remainder of the night. Here's live storm tracker. Radar right now shows more storms developing. 8-day forecast. Highs stay in the low 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Humidity remains low.
Thank you, Peyton. President Trump speaks about Afghanistan at 8 o'clock tonight.
We'll wrap up his comments and today's eclipse viewing when you join us for the news at 10. Have a great night.
Get the latest news, weather, and sports at WIBW.com or follow WIBW on Twitter, Facebook, and our mobile app. Thank you for making 13 News the most watched evening newscast.